Hey, hopefully you're having an amazing day and welcome back to the channel. The Pocket 3 has to be one of the best-selling cameras made by DJI, and in today's video, I want to compare it with the new Insta360 X4 in terms of video quality, stabilization, low light performance, along with other important details that you should consider before you buy either one of them. And it is important that you know that this video is not sponsored by Insta360 or DJI. With the Pocket 3, you are going to get a camera that is attached to a mechanical gimbal, which is going to make your videos more stable. It has a lot of great features, but is more fragile than other cameras and it's not waterproof like the Insta360 X4, which can go underwater up to 10 meters without any special case. On the other hand, the X4 is a camera that can record videos in 360 degrees, and this is possible because there is a camera on each side. And this means that it doesn't matter how you point the X4 because it will be able to see everything around it. It's almost like having different cameras at the same time because you are going to be able to record and reframe later. And the best part is that you can do it as many times as you want to get all the angles that you need using the app on your smartphone or computer. This is the major selling point for the X4 because with other cameras, you need to pay attention at your framing. In other words, you have to point and shoot. The Pocket 3 has a much larger sensor than the X4 and it has a maximum resolution of 4K. The Insta360 X4 does have a higher resolution of 8K at 30 frames per second, or you can use 5.7K to record at 60 frames per second. And in paper, these numbers are amazing. But the truth is that this has been very confusing for many users who believe that we don't really need 8 or 5.7K because 4K should be plenty enough, right? But for 360 cameras, it actually matters quite a lot because the maximum resolution is for the entire video that was shot at 360 degrees using both cameras. But when you select a portion of this video to turn it into a flat one, a big part of that initial resolution is going to be gone. Just imagine not having to use the rest of your 8K video when you are reframing. And trust me, the higher resolution that we have to get that 360 video will determine how good the final video will look in terms of resolution. Because in the end, you're not going to get an 8K video after reframing. And just to be clear, you're not even getting 4K quality anyway. So the Pocket 3, which has a 1-inch sensor, a real 4K resolution, and can also record using 10-bit color, will have a higher video quality. And in these videos, you should be able to see more details, texture, and dynamic range will be higher as well. For slow motion, the Pocket 3 can record using 60 frames per second in regular video mode. But if you select the slow motion mode, it will record using 120 frames per second, which can be used in 4K or 240 frames per second, but this only works at 1080p. The maximum frame rate on the X4 is 100 frames per second, but you will need to use 4K, and as I said before, this means that you will not get the greatest resolution. For low light conditions, the Pocket 3 has a special low light video mode that will lift the shadows to bring up the details, and it will apply a denoiser at the same time. I have to confess that sometimes I forget about it or there isn't enough time to change the mode, and in my opinion, the results are still really incredible. And then again, this is because of the 1-inch sensor, so the X4 just falls behind when you compare videos side by side, where you can see that the levels of noise are lower on the Pocket 3. And you also have to consider that this is not limited to just night videos, and instead, it seems like the video quality on the X4 will drop right after sunset, and I guess you can just take a look at these side-by-side examples. Alright, this one is gonna be a little bit in low light, just after sunset. See how the X4 behaves versus the DJI Pocket 3. These two devices have a different stabilization system. I like the gimbal on the Pocket 3, but it does have some movement limitations. The X4 has an electronic stabilization, so everything is done inside of the camera, and it does a fantastic job with no movement limitations, and I also think that it does a better job if things get a bit more intense. One big problem with cameras that have an electronic stabilization is this motion blur or vibration glitch effect that you get in low light. This effect might not be too strong on the X4 compared to other action cameras, but because the Pocket 3 relies on its mechanical gimbal, the videos will always be stable. Using the Pocket 3 for vlogging, or if your subject is too close to the camera, it creates this background blur that will result in a more interesting effect, but this cannot be turned off, and I know that some users have been complaining about it because they don't like it. The X4 will have most of the background in focus, and you can also select a wider field of view than with the Pocket 3, but bear in mind that the wider you go, the more distortion you're going to get in your video. Another feature that I like on the Pocket 3 is the active tracking, which allows the camera to track a person or an object that you select, and tracking people seems to work better in my opinion. What is interesting about the X4 is that because it is recording in 360 degrees, you can use the app to track and reframe at the same time. Even if the tracking fails, you can always fix that in post, and if that happens with the Pocket 3, you will not be able to do so. When it comes to the battery life, the Pocket 3 will last for about 2.5 hours using 4K videos. The battery is not replaceable, but you can get this battery handle that you can attach at the bottom of the Pocket 3. It comes with a creator combo, or you can buy a spare ones if you need it, but it will only charge the main battery up to 60%, and it is quite expensive. The battery on the X4 will run for about 1 hour and 25 minutes using 8K with the highest settings. At 5.K, you're going to get over 2 hours, and the battery is replaceable, so you can buy more for about $35 each. I did test both cameras for overheating outdoors and indoors with no air conditioning or airflow using their maximum resolution and highest settings, and neither one of them had any issues. The internal microphone on both cameras are good enough for everyday videos, and here's a quick test so you can listen to them. It's actually kind of interesting because it was very cloudy, so I just stopped making videos with these two cameras, and now the sun is out, and so we're doing some kind of vlogging style. It's actually kind of interesting because it was very cloudy, so I just stopped making videos with these two cameras, and now the sun is out, and so we're doing some kind of vlogging style. With so many compact cameras in the market, it can get confusing when you're trying to select one of them. Inside my backpack, I normally have these two. They go with me almost everywhere, but for most of my personal videos, I use the Pocket 3 more often just because I know that I can get a higher video quality with good stabilization and not really worry about having low quality videos when there isn't enough light. The Insta360 X4 is amazing all around, way better than the older X3, and you should consider this if you don't want to worry so much about your composition and have that freedom to reframe later. And don't forget that you can also have multiple angles or even movements from one single video. You are not going to get that with the Pocket 3 or any action camera. In the end, these are different type of cameras, and I think that the best choice comes down to what you need and your shooting style. The links to these two products are going to be down below. Please don't forget to give this video a like. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.